Yeah, the optimal productivity numbers for employees are between 65 and 68 degrees. So all these office workers that are saying that they want it 70 degrees in the office, they'll actually usually work better at 68 degrees. So there's a battle there. Maybe you guys can split the difference and move them to 69. But you want to have your thermostats a little bit higher during the day, between 65 and 68 degrees during the day, and you want them to drop down considerably at night or when the office is not in use. But you always have to ask the question, when are your employees in the door? Are they there mostly at night? Well, if they're there mostly at night, obviously you want the thermostat to kick up at night, but drop dramatically during the day. It depends on the issue, therefore, what people are doing. Some common sense things in terms of putting signs on doors that say, please turn off the lights when you leave the room if you don't have automatic or time lights. The lighting is a huge issue at businesses. What kind of lights are they using? If they're still using incandescents, by all means, please change out your incandescents and tell employees not to use them at their own desks. Certainly CFL bulbs are far more, that means compact fluorescent light bulbs. Those CFL bulbs are far more energy efficient than other light bulbs. And even though they have a little bit of mercury in them, they have a trace amount of mercury in those CFL bulbs, and that is an environmental issue. It's more than offset by the amount of mercury reduction at the power plants actually producing the electricity and blowing that mercury straight out of smokestacks for all those incandescents that we have out there. So by all means, lower your costs of operating your business and your energy use by switching out and using a more energy efficient bulb. If you can, and it's available with the right type of contractors to install it, we'd recommend skipping CFL bulbs altogether and go into LED bulbs. But that gets into that other course where we start to get really deep into the recommendations. Signs to lower thermostats in unused rooms, that stuff makes sense. What kind of hand dryer or hand towels you use in your office, what's the environmental cost, what's the dollar costs, what kind of recommendations should you be making there. All these things play into what's going on with your energy use in your building. Your doors shut automatically. Is non-essential electrical equipment turned off at night? Some stuff's just real commonsensical, but you'd be really surprised how many businesses don't turn off their electrical equipment at night. They leave everything running just because they don't like the startup time that it takes in the morning. So there's a lot in there in terms of that. What are some of the best energy recommendations, green energy recommendations, if they have their own ability to put up a windmill on site, or whether they have the ability to put up solar, what kind of credits are available? All these things are the things that ego consultants get in depth with when they're talking to their clients during the environmental practice assessment. The big thing about the environmental practice assessment, I guess I kind of should have said this before, is that you want to establish a baseline of where a business is at today. What is their current environmental impact? 104 sounds like a lot. 104 waste sounds like a lot, but it's just really the tip of the iceberg in terms of all the things that businesses have for environmental impacts. And you're just trying to get the best sense that you can in the beginning to find out what are their environmental impacts and what are their opportunities to save money. That's what you're trying to find out up in the beginning. And that assessment is, we go into this 104 questions, but really those questions are just one meeting with your client. You go out to your client, it takes between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how fast you can type, to ask them the questions and get their answers back. They give you the answers, you type them in, and that's really the end of meeting number one. Other than to say, I'm going to produce a report for you that tells you where you've got room for environmental improvement and cost savings improvement. But the first time out there is really just, you set up that first initial call to get out there, to meet with them, to give them, to take in a free assessment. Really what you're doing is you're taking 45 minutes of their time, an hour of their time, to find out where the opportunities lie for you to make money. And for you to give something positive back to the environment by letting them know what they can do to change. So that's what that whole first part of the process is about. And we'll be giving checklists to people, so all these green consultants, so they can take those checklists right to the businesses and use those. You know, back to the energy recommendations. There are things that people don't think of. This has been kind of a consistent thing. There's things that nobody thinks of. We didn't think of them. Some real experts do the thinking behind some of this work in terms of energy consumption. We asked this, and it's funny. You see a look come across people's faces. I thought this was about energy consumption when you asked the following question: are there any leaky faucets here? That sounds like a water conservation issue, and it is. But there is so much energy that goes into the collection of water, the heating of water, the delivery system of water, all the pumps that it takes to move that stuff along. So it's actually an energy issue too, and it's a huge energy issue, especially in terms of hot water. So that, you know, because it takes energy to heat that water up. So it is an energy issue too. There's the question of whether or not businesses allow teleconferencing, or should they, given what their current business situation is. And are they using a lot of Energy Star equipment for their fax machines and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot under the banner of energy consumption, energy production. There's a lot of opportunities. If you're partnered up with somebody who sells energy efficient office equipment, and you've got somebody who says, you know, we're thinking about changing out our copy machine, maybe we will get a more energy efficient model next time, that's great. Make sure that you have a partner, that you have an arrangement worked out where you get some money out of it if somebody buys a copier from it. You know, if there's a vendor out there that you're familiar with that does good work in the solar space or the wind space, and you want to, or you should certainly line up with some type of partner that does wind work or solar work, and work out a paid arrangement whereby if you get their product placed into someplace, then you get some money out of that too. But energy consumption, you know, if you know somebody that does energy efficiency retrofits, and they say, sure, let's get a bunch of insulation on the walls, it's freezing in here in winter, that's something we've been thinking about a long time. If you can show me some tax credits for it, I'll do it. If you get to that point where you're having those types of conversations with people, you want to have your partner already picked out. And you want somebody that can make sure that they pay you based upon whether or not there's productivity there. So energy use and consumption and production is a huge area of opportunity for green consultants.